Weeks of our lives.
Hey everyone, so welcome to Weeks of Our Knives. I'm Foamy.
And I'm Trisha Thunderbody.
And today we're going to be talking about Axing of Aema. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't really heard of... Did you say axing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This girl was like totally axed in the back. I mean, not like, oh no, she's been stabbed like one of our usual murders. No, this girl was like axed in the back and then melted with acid.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Okay, so let's set the scene, shall we? Have you heard of a place called Falsum?
Yeah. Oh my God. I was there like last summer to do some shopping. They've got some really great stalls there.
Like, what did you buy?
I bought like these boots of elven kind. They make me super, super light. So I usually wear them out on dates, out on the town.
That's why, like, I can totally never hear you when you're like sneaking up on me.
Yeah. They're also good for that. Yeah, absolutely. But they're
oh my God,
super good because they make you also, because elves are like super tall, so they kind of give you that like slimming long leg look also when you wear them. So they're super good for like a fancy night out on the town,
I'm gonna have to like totally go to that place and I'm gonna have to go get some because like Falsum, from what I heard, is kind of like the pits, but I guess if you recommend shopping there, I'm just going to have to go, like, real soon.
Yeah.
Well, just probably after we finish recording this.
Yeah.
Okay, so, like, Falsum is, like, let me set the scene. So, like, about a year and a half ago, we're talking, from what I can tell, the year 4,999. Woo! And it's summer 150th day. So imagine this. You are this halfling called Good Barrel, and you walk near a friend's house, and you see that this black dragonborn guy is like passed out on the step, and there are all of these groceries on the floor. So like you kind of go in there, and then you see like ahead of you on the bed this dragonborn who has been melted mostly by like acid and stuff, and this like really gory corpse of this human, like this really old human, like gross, but like this really old human, no offense, I love you, this really old human guy who's laying on the bed, and he's also been melted by acid. And like this dwarf turns up named Belgrim, and he's just like, oh dude, like what the hell, these are my friends. And that's the murder. That's what we find.
Oh my God. So she was melted by it was melted by acid? That's so disgusting.
I know, it's so gross. And so that's kind of like the murder, like this, the kind of general details. Anyway, so like the Dragonborn, the guy who was passed on the floor, like a thing of like his particular like being, he's known to like spit acid on stuff. So the cops arrested him and they threw him in jail because clearly his acid is the one that like melted his partner, who is like this beautiful gold dragonborn, and Aema, and the human. So he was sent to jail for their murder.
Well, it sounds like rightfully so, right? Like, I mean, it's kind of hard to produce acid, and if he produces acid, then I mean that kind of makes a lot of sense.
Exactly right. So he produces acid. The story goes, he came in, he found his girlfriend and this like old human dude in bed together, and he spat acid over them, and then for whatever reason then he passed out. So it was like basically an open and shut case, like, and off we go. That's another day being a cop. And so yeah, that's the theory. However, I did some digging on this because I heard this rumor from this guy who knows a girl who knows this person who lives in Falsum like years ago, that Aema's body actually had an axe mark in it. Like she'd been hacked to pieces before she had been melted with acid.
Oh my God.
I know, right? So I did a little bit of digging, and it's true. Like, she had the biggest axe mark in the back of her, like the top of her back, and she had, like, this stab wound in her head. Like, and they only kind of found out a little bit after they managed to wash off some of the acid because nobody really wanted to touch it. But nobody investigated it beyond there. Like, this guy. His name is Ral, the Black Dragonborn, and he was sent to prison, and they didn't investigate any further. Like, they found this, but they didn't actually do anything about it. They still sent him to prison.
But if he can produce acid, why would he, like, axe his girlfriend in the back?
I know, right? So, yeah. So, I decided I would do a little bit of digging because, that's just what I do. And, anyway, my friends told me, about axes and talking about, like, the human, and it goes into detail about all these horrible gory things, which we don't do that much gore in here, right? We don't, because ew, gross. So, the first theory that I always have is, and as you know, it's always the spouse. So I looked into the fact that maybe Ral was trying to cover up the murder that he did by making it look like someone had stabbed Aema first.
Oh, but that doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? Because then he just acided her, right? Like, if he was going to try to, like, make it look like he didn't do it, why would he acid her after stabbing her?
I know. But I did my due diligence and I looked into it anyway. But this isn't the first time that Ral's, like, killed people. So it wouldn't actually go too far against it. So I know you don't quite believe it, but there is a thing called the Fourfold, which is like this underground fighting ring kind of thing. And, like, death does occur there. And one death of this young human boy was attributed to Raljak, who, like, totally beat the shit out of him. So Ral killing with something other than acid is something that has definitely been done.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, now I'm kind of torn on this, right? Because, like, if maybe he, like, axed her in the back and then he felt, like, guilty about it looking at her. So he, like, melted her so he wouldn't have to look at what he did.
Oh, right. Oh my God, that's so clever.
Yeah.
Like, because if he could melt her and melt the guy, then I guess his problems have literally melted away, right?
Right. Like, I know that, I mean, sometimes I get, like, super mad at my husband, and, like, I would never murder him, obviously, because,
Obviously.
But, like, I could definitely, if I had, like, hurt him, I definitely would feel, like, super guilty about it afterwards, and I could see, like, doing something like that. But, like, I don't know, like, that, I guess it makes sense that way. Like, maybe he was trying to, maybe he was, like, just trying to cover it up, that he killed her, and then he just felt, like, super guilty about it. So because, like, how much of her was, like, left afterwards? I mean, I know we don't, like, usually get, like, super gory, but, like, just kind of give me, like, a percentage, I guess.
Let's say, like, 15 to 20%. Like, they found, like, the axe mark in the back of her head, and they found that, like, her arms had been cut by, like, this big weapon, and, like, the front of her face, it wasn't all there. It was, like, a lot of it gone.
Oh, gross. Oh my God.
Yeah, and there was, like, virtually nothing left of this old dude that was in the bed. After, like, a little bit of time, they figured out is this guy called Grisham, and he was, like, the local potions master, and Ral and Aema, and also, like, the dwarf Bogrim, they all knew him.
Oh my God. And she was, like, cheating on him with this guy?
Everything, like, because I didn't exactly go speak to Bogrim, but I did speak to people who knew people who knew Bogrim, and they were saying, like, Aema was just, like, not that kind of a girl. Like, she wouldn't cheat on Ral, and if, like, that motive isn't there, I don't know what she could have done to make Ral kill her.
Well, like, was Grisham married?
No, Grisham was, like, totally single.
Okay, well, then there goes that, like, idea I had.
What was your idea?
Well, I don't know, like, because if we're saying that, like, maybe this Dragonborn dude didn't do it, and, like, there was cheating happening, like, possibly, what if, like, he had somebody who, like, caught them or thought that they were doing something.
Oh my God, like, maybe Grisham had, like, another lover.
Yeah, oh my God.
And, like, the other lover totally went and, like, stabbed, like, Aema in a fit of, like, jealous rage. And then Ral came home and saw, like, his girlfriend dead and, like, the human dead, and was like, oh my God. And then just, like, I accidentally spat acid everywhere and then passed out. Because I don't know, like, I'm kind of stuck on the whole thing that it's acid that, like, dissolve their bodies, and he can do acid from his mouth, and that's, like, pretty damning.
Yeah. But you have, like, a point, right? Because, like, okay, so I don't really know any Dragonborn, so I don't know how, like, their breath weapon, like, functions 100%, but, like, what if you're right and, like, he came home and he saw them, like, lying there murdered, and it, like, made him nauseous, and he, like, just threw out acid all over everything.
Oh my God, he had, like, total acid reflux.
Oh my God.
He was like, oh no, and just threw up everywhere. And then obviously like grief made him pass out because like I know that can do people sometimes. So like get like so overwhelmed they just pass out, and that would explain it. Oh my God. Like I guess that's like totally one. Well, see, my usual theory, it is the spouse that did it, but maybe we're looking at the wrong spouse. Maybe you're right on that one.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, maybe he had like an ex-wife or something who's like super jealous, or an ex-husband or whatever. Like you never know. You know, you got to be like really careful when you're out in the dating scene. I'm super glad that I'm married now because like dating was a nightmare, you know?
Yeah, I can totally imagine. I mean, I'm not all for that myself, but I can totally imagine that just like not being safe right now, especially with like the world ending around. People are just like super clingy and weird. I mean, I love you two together. You two are adorable, but ugh.
Yeah, Mark is kind of like, he can be a little clingy sometimes, you know? And he's always like badgering me, you know, like when he gets home from work to make food, which is actually real quick. We do have a sponsor today.
Oh my God. Okay. Lay it on us.
Yeah. So, you know, like every day I get home, you know, and Mark always wants me to like cook up like some fantastic meal, right? But like I don't have time for that, right? I'm out.
I mean, who has the time?
Yeah, exactly.
Like nobody has the time for this, right? Especially if you're cooking for two, nobody has the time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a modern world. Who has the time to go out, go shopping, get food, you know, groceries and stuff, you know, and then come home and
in an apocalypse.
Exactly, in the middle of an apocalypse. And prices have gotten so much higher at the groceries, at the grocery stalls lately.
Yeah, totally.
Which is actually why I have been getting case of steaks, you know, delivered to my house. They are super good. It's a different kind of steak like every time. And they do vegetables. I mean, I'm not like super into vegetables, you know, obviously. Yeah. But, you know, Mark really likes them. He's like almost a vegetarian. So, you know, they deliver.
So what has been like your favorite so far?
Oh, okay. So actually, I don't think it's real dragon because that wouldn't make sense, but she sent me something called
because they're like
dragon steak.
Okay.
And it was like super good. Like it was spicy, and it came with like a bunch of like root vegetables for me to cook with that, and some grain. So it was pretty good. You know, she sends like a pack every week. I don't know if it's actually the person who makes it is called Queso, but that's just the name of the company.
I assume it's probably just like Queso's like the head chef, and then everybody else like works for Queso.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, so if you want to get Queso steaks, you just have to like go to your local grocery store and put in an order, and you can actually give them a secret code. The code is Weeks of Our Knives 48.
And then, like, I think you were saying earlier, it's like 10% discount, right?
Yeah, it's like 10%. You get 10% more steak.
That is so awesome. So, yeah, totally go check out the sponsors, because not only is it good for you, but it's, like, totally good for us. And it means that we can keep buying these wind shells so that we can, like, keep doing this podcast.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Oh, that's also awesome. What a beautiful segue. I have to say, like, that might be your best segue. Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
I know.
incredible.
Sometimes I get like some criticism about my segues from our fans. You know, they send me like messages into my brain while I'm trying to sleep sometimes. Like, hey, that segue was like really bad, but this one was, I think pretty good.
I think you did like super well. And if you have any problems, you can like totally F off. Like, stop messaging us. Like, our segues are our segues. Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk about my next theory. Oh, just one more thing on the theory I had before about It's Always the Spouse is that Rod doesn't have an alibi.
Oh.
Nobody knows where he was for like 2 hours before they found her and him and Grisham, obviously. Anyway, so my next theory, I know you're going to hate it, but it's my, it's like the Love Lost Council, which is like, I know you said before it's kind of like Illuminati and it's like totally not real, but I swear to you, I did a lot of research on the Love Lost Council, and I am convinced that this might be like the closest thing that actually explains everything.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I definitely think that the Love Lost Council is kind of like a little bit far-fetched and out there, but I don't know. Like, I'm willing to listen.
I don't know. hold your ideas on this, because I might have another theory coming up that's maybe even more like outlandish compared to this one. So just bear that in mind as you listen to this, that I have one I think is way more wacky. Anyway.
Oh my God.
So, as everybody knows, everybody obviously, the Love Lost Council is like this cult dedicated to Miracle, who's the deity of death. I know, it sounds awful. And like grief totally sustains them. It's not actually true. Grief doesn't sustain them, but it doesn't really matter. So I mentioned before that there was this dwarf named Bogrim, and I think he is an agent for the Love Lost Council. And I might have proof, because he comes from this place called Heart's Hearth, and that's supposedly a hotspot for like council activity. And it's be a really big coincidence that Bogrim, who comes from a place run by the Love Lost Council, just happens to know a pair of lovers, and one of them dies in like the worst way possible. I'm not buying it. I am totally not buying this coincidence. So I dug into his past a little bit more, because, that's what I do. And he knew this guy named Lohir, and Lohir was definitely Love Lost Council. Okay, I don't have any proof for that, but that's my theory. I think he is. Anyway, and he died mysteriously around Bogrim. So I don't think this is the first time that he may have done this. And Bogrim doesn't have an alibi either. He just kind of like stumbled into it while like the halfling was there, and he tried to explain things away. So Bogrim doesn't have an alibi either, but it was never looked into. Like I said, like once they had like framed, or once they had decided that Ral was guilty, they didn't really look into anything else. And I think Bogrim might be the reason.
I don't know. Like, okay, so again, like I'm not super buying this whole like Love Lost Council thing. I think it's like a little bit conspiracy. Like, I love you, but like sometimes you get a little bit conspiracy. But like
it totally is though. Like they are totally running everything. There are like, in my theory, I think there are like 6 or 7 different councils that are running a bunch of things behind the scenes, and we know nothing about it.
I mean, I feel like that's like a little bit like, wouldn't we have like concrete proof of at least like one of them existing?
Well, like the like shield of the sect was totally a real thing, and they protected this like shield for a while, and then it kind of disappeared. And then they disappeared. Okay, it's not 100% proof, okay? There's a lot of weird things that happen on coincidence. There's just too many that lines up, and I refuse to have my eyes closed to this.
No, that's totally fair. Honestly, like I'll keep my mind open about it. Like I'm not like as bought into it as like you are, but like I'll keep my mind open about it. But you're 100% right that it's like super weird and creepy that Bogrim just like happened to come into the house like right after the murder. Like what was he even doing? What did he say?
Well, like Bogrim was apparently Aema and Raljak's like best friends, so he was around them like all the time.
Do you think there was like a love triangle going on there?
I don't know. I mean,
like maybe he was the one cheating with Aema.
Oh my God. Do you think Aema was like a total hussy and was just sleeping with everyone? Like, she was sleeping with like Grisham, and she was also sleeping with Bogrim. That maybe Bogrim is known to have an ex. Like, Bogrim could have like totally snuck in there, like saw her with Grisham, killed them both, and left, and then just waited for Ral to clean out the mess for him.
Oh my God. Yeah, like, okay, but like also she's like sleeping with 3 different guys. Like, you go, girl. Like,
oh yeah. Like, totally into
it's like, I can't even imagine trying to like corral like 3 different guys at the same time. Like, it's hard enough to have like one guy, like men, like.
Well, I totally can't even imagine juggling like one person. That's just like not for me. But yeah, like if you feel liberated, like fucking go for it. Like this girl is clearly onto something. But yeah, like I kind of think maybe Bogrim, just because like there are all these weird things, and like, so I have that gut feeling, but there's so much evidence that kind of like, I guess, protects Bogrim, that makes him not obviously the suspect, which makes me think maybe he is the suspect because there's just too much like things lined up for him.
Oh, like too much coincidence.
Yeah, like, oh, he just coincidentally happened to be in this place. And he also like, he never went to speak to Ral afterwards, and he totally dealt with Aema's death. Like, he dealt with like burning her, which is like how her people want to like be dealt with after they're dead. And he he did that, and he also didn't defend Ral, even though he said that Aema totally wouldn't have cheated on Ral, which I guess if he was cheating with her, he wouldn't want Ral to think that either.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Like, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Like, it's just, I always say, right, like, there's no such thing as coincidence in a murder investigation, right? Like,
yeah, you say that like, all the time.
Yeah, because, like, it's just, coincidence is just too convenient.
Like, it is, like, too coincident. Like, it's just too convenient that, like, Bogrim would, like, have this alibi, or he would have, like, this thing where he looked after the ashes. I mean, of course he would. Like, if he was the murderer and he wanted people to not think that, of course he wouldn't, like, go visit the person who was accused of her murder. Of course he would, like, make sure that her body was dealt with properly. I mean, and also burning the evidence where nobody could really check. I had to speak to a guy who knew a guy who knew a girl who knew a guy to even get the information that Aema was actually, hurt with an axe.
It's so crazy, too, because, like, right? Like, you said that he was, like, best friends with Ral and Aema, right?
Right, yeah.
So then, like, okay, you're my best friend. If you got convicted of murder, like, even if I thought you did it, I'd visit you in prison.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
Yeah, Foamy, listen, you're, like, my best friend ever, so.
Well, you're, like, my best friend, and, like, even if, like, you were accused, no, even if you, like, did kill, I mean, I love Mark to pieces, you know I do, but even if you did kill Mark, I would still totally come visit you, because you're my best friend, and I no matter what you do, we have unconditional love, me and you.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, yeah, exactly, like, okay, like, if exactly, like, if you killed someone, I would, like, visit you in prison, and, like, for this guy to be, like, best friends with this dude and, like, not visit him, that's, like, so fucked up.
Like, super suspect.
Yeah. Like, maybe they weren't really friends. Like, that kind of lends more into, like, the idea that, like, maybe he was, like, fucking around with Aema, like, the whole time, right?
Or that he wanted Ral to be super unhappy and super upset and super, like, hurt and betrayed because Bogrim works for the Love Lost Council and they're ushering the Dead Days apocalypse, which I might add to you, hello, apocalypse.
You know, like, maybe that actually does hold some water. I mean, yeah, we are in the middle of an apocalypse right now.
Right, exactly. So, like, I think maybe I might actually be onto something here. But, yeah. It's all just theory, and I don't have a lot of proof. Well, I have some proof that Bogrim is, like, totally shady, but that's not the only, like, weirdness I have. So, like, that's, like, my Illuminati, like, Love Lost Council, like, theory. I always have to go at least one of them, and this time I think I have real proof. So I have, like, a couple of other theories that I like. I don't think Ral did it kind of theories. So, did you know? Well, of course you would. You don't really know much about Aema. So, like, Aema is into, like, some really sketchy stuff. Nobody knew where her money come from or what she did while Ral wasn't home, except that she spent a lot of time in the library. Anyway, through somebody talking to somebody else, me talking to, like, the mayor's daughter, there was this girl called Liana, and Aema might be involved in Liana going to prison because Aema might have killed someone that the mayor knew.
Oh my God. So, like, she might have been a murderer herself.
Yeah. So the theory is, like, there was this girl who worked for the mayor, and the mayor's daughter, like, the girl who worked for the mayor was killed, and she had, like, this dagger stuck in her, and the only thing that was ever known or seen or any leads about it is they saw a flash of gold, which, it could just be gold, like, it could just be money, or it could be jewelry stuff, but Aema was a golden dragonborn, and they tried to follow up, but Aema had a really good alibi, so it's a little bit sketchy as whether she did it or not. Anyway, so this, like, human woman named Liana went to jail for the murder of the person that worked for the mayor, and it's a little sketchy because I don't have a lot of details on it, but maybe Liana or Liana's family, like, had to have, like, some sort of revenge because, like, hey, if you were put in prison for killing Mark and you didn't, I would so totally go kill whoever did that and put, like, the whole blame on them.
Ah, babe.
That's all right. I mean, also, I kind of like Mark. Mark's, like, a really nice guy, and if someone murdered him, I'd want to do revenge just, for me. But if you were put in prison for it, I'd make sure that, like, yeah, I'd do that for you.
Yeah. Mark's great. I'm so glad he always, like, helps us with these episodes too. Hey, babe.
Hi.
You guys can't see him because it's audio, but he's like right over there.
Yeah, he's like making sure the wind chill picks us up properly. So like
Yeah.
if we move away a lot, like Mark's the one that's like waving his hands to make sure that we like point our voices back at the wind chill. So thank you, Mark. You're doing amazing. Yeah, I would totally kill for you, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe we'll have to do a future episode on Liana because like that sounds like it's like a whole deal of its own, right? Like
yeah, like Liana, like if I'm right, like the Liana is in prison. Well, she's dead now, but that's because the whole like Darn came to like Falsum. Anyway, that's a whole thing. But Liana might have been innocent when she went to jail. So we should definitely do a future episode on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So here comes, I told you to hold on, the strangest and wackiest theory I have with very little evidence, but a lot of like, hell yeah, I think this may be the only thing to explain it if Ral didn't do the murder, if Bogrim didn't do the murder, if Liana's family didn't do the murder, if it wasn't down to the Loveless Council. If it wasn't any of those, I have the most watertight idea as to what could have happened. You're going to love it. You ready?
Oh my God. Okay. I'm literally holding on to my seat right now. Like
she totally is.
White knuckling it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Aema was an alien.
Oh my God, what?
So I have told you, like, off the windshield, like a little while ago, that I had a theory that there were aliens and that we're not alone in this, like, place of existence. Anyway, so my theory is aliens landed on this flat-ass world, and they took Aema and replaced her with a duplicate. Anyway, so when the duplicate has, like, finished its mission, it dies. And it just happened in, like, the worst way possible. Like, the aliens decided to cover it up. Aema wasn't acting properly, whatever. But my theory, the only theory that makes sense, is that Aema was an alien and that she had to be, like, removed after she served her purpose.
Oh my God, like in one of those, like, those plays, like those sci-fi plays where they like have like visitors from below the ocean or whatever, and they like come up and then they like explode into like goo. I mean, okay, like it is really out there, but like I mean, if what like the idea like if she like it could have been like, did they test it to make sure that it was acid?
Well, no one would, like, because if the aliens have as much control as, like, the idea states, like, no one would look into it more. So if Aema was an alien and she exploded, and that was, like, the reason they only found, like, 10 or 15% of her, and why, like, there was lots of acid everywhere, it could just be her, like, internal organs, and they just, like, liquefied and turned to acid and started destroying everything.
Oh, my God. Well, you know, like, I don't know. I guess it kind of makes sense in, like, a way. I definitely don't. I'll be honest with you, I don't think it was aliens. Like, I feel like if creatures were coming up from below the ocean or from outside of Discora's, like, whatever, I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, if Aema was an alien and Aema came from, like, out of this, like, sphere that is our existence, and, you know, you're made of acid, who better to hook up with than a Dragonborn who, like, breathes acid?
I mean, like, actually, that makes sense, though. Because, like, imagine, like, okay, like, I don't want to get gross, but, like, if you're, like, hooking up with someone whose, like, internal body fluids are acid, that cannot be painless.
Oh, no. Oh, that's just, like, oh, I feel really uncomfortable now. I hate that. That's so gross. Apparently, Aema also believed that Bikram was a sphere and not flat. Like, everybody knows it's flat, right?
It's flat. Flat Bikram. We all know this.
Yeah,
like
totally flat.
Wow. Wow. But like, okay. So we don't know like a lot about like the Dragonborn, right? Because they're like God knows where. God's nowhere.
Right.
And like
there's like so few of them that are like roaming around Discara that like we don't really know much about them. I do know that Amy used to like bounce fireballs down her arm so that the kids would like laugh and like be happy. So I know that's something she could do, and I looked into Ral, and Ral is different from her, and he can basically like breathe acid on stuff. I don't really know any other Dragonborn. There was a white Dragonborn like years and years and years ago in a place called Kuzak, and they had like a lot of frost and ice around them, but they didn't stay there very long.
I don't like, so that's my thing, right? Because like I'm like very skeptical about Ral doing this now because we know about this like the axe thing, right?
Right, exactly.
So it seems more like it's somebody who can't do acid who did it, and then like either like Raul like vomited all over everybody with like acid or something else happened with that. But like I definitely believe it was his acid. But like I definitely think somebody must have chopped them up beforehand. But so here's the thing, right? Because like what if, okay, hear me out, right?
All right.
What if like Aema, like, I don't know, like had some trouble with the other Dragonborn, right? And either like they hired an assassin or one of the other Dragonborn came down and like killed her because she was like doing something with the others, right? Because you said that Aema was like kind of shady and no one knew what she did for like work, right? So like what if she was like a Dragonborn spy in Discora, right?
Wow.
Like,
oh my God, that makes like total sense. If Aema's like some sort of spy, like it doesn't matter who she pissed off, they would try and frame it on somebody else other than themselves so that they wouldn't give away that they knew who she was, that they that who they were, so no one would know. I mean, to be fair, it could all still be Love Lost Council who's like, maybe she was working for them, but I think maybe the spy thing is totally right. I think Aema may have been working like a bunch of people and that's what got her killed.
Or like, okay, and if she was like somebody who like had committed a murder before or something, like maybe she hurt someone up in Dragonborn land and that's why she's down here. Because like none of them ever like really come down here, right? So like she must have come down here.
Oh my God, yeah, like she's totally on the run.
Yeah, that would only make sense, right? Because she must have come down here for a reason. Like there, like you said, there's like not a lot of Dragonborn around here. So why were she and Raul here if they weren't like on the run from the other Dragonborn?
Right. And as I said, like Raul was totally working in the Fourfold for a while. I know you kind of don't believe it's totally true, but like the Fourfold, like they're kind of sketchy dudes anyway. And if he was involved in something sketchy, nobody knew what she did or she got her money from or all of her knowledge or anything else that she did. Like it totally makes sense that she may have been on the run or she was working for someone as a spy. Oh my God, you're like so smart.
I know. But like, yeah, no, it only makes sense, right? Mark, you'll back me up.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, he's nodding. It only makes sense.
Well, I think you're kind of biased, Mark. I'm not gonna lie. I think you're kind of biased.
He's totally biased. But like,
yeah,
it only makes sense that they've got to be on the run for some reason.
Why else would they be here, right? Like, why would two Dragonborn come all the way from like wherever it is they came from? Because nobody knows where Dragonland is or what's there or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. And where is Dragonland? Yeah, exactly. Like, how do they even get down to here? Is it down? Is it up? I keep saying down here, but like, it could be like up here.
That's just like a broad assumption. You're right. That could totally come up from like the Dorn somewhere, like, or like from like the Singing Waters or something. Or maybe it even came from the Arcathal because nobody knows exactly what's there except like some orcs and half orcs and some humans and some gnomes and stuff. So maybe they even came from there. Oh my God.
Kino.
What if they came from Kino?
Oh my God!
It happened. Oh my God, we did it again.
We're just like so in sync. It's crazy.
I know. We're like so bonded. I that's kind of like all my theories, really. Like I told you the one about the aliens. I told you one about Liana. I told you one about the spouse because we always assume it's a spouse. It's where we start first, and then we had the Love Lost Council. So that's basically, I think, all of my theories. But I think your theory that maybe she was a spy and that she was on the run, I think like maybe the closest to the truth.
Yeah. Well, I guess like the thing is, you know, as with all of our episodes, like unless it's a super solved murder, like okay, so I know that like I'm not gonna like, you know, go into it too much, but you know, like last episode when we talked about, you know, like that chick Zoltana, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah. Like those murders, she kind of like left her calling card on those. Like there was a very simple like A to B, like killed the wife, that person dies. Like it's super simple, and like Zoltana like never denied anything, right?
Yeah. So, but like she's such an anomaly, right? Because like almost all the murders that we cover on Weeks of Our Knives are like kind of like up in the air about like who really did them. Like even if somebody got like arrested for them, like this one, right? Because you know, usually people don't admit when they commit a crime. So some people like that girl are dumb, and they do. But
well, I kind of get that. Like I kind of get Zoltana's like whole vibe of like, hey, like imagine somebody killed Mark. Mark, no one's killing you. Like if somebody killed Mark, like you would be well within like your rights to go and murder whoever did that, and you need to know I would totally be there with you for that.
Oh, 100%. You and I would like, You know, like that play that was like about those two chicks that were like best friends, and they went on like a road trip, and then they just like killed some people and like fucking went off like a cliff. So that's us.
Yeah, that's totally us. Like, you and me would be on, like, this cart, and, like, we'd detach the horses at the last minute, and then we'd fly off, and we'd land in the desert at Dreneth. Like, that would be our ending.
100%.
Like, that would be because of you, Mark. Like, 100 because of you.
Mark looks so concerned. Babe, we're not going to kill anyone and drive our horses off a cliff. Oh, my God.
I can't kill anyone. Like, I'm so, like, tiny and weak. Like, I know I'm pretty strong for a halfling, but I'm still, like, super weak. Like, I just can't lift a lot.
Yeah, like, please. Our entire purpose in life is to tell stories about people who kill people.
Right.
Like, we're not...
And, like, come up with strange ideas on, like, how these things are done, but we'd never do them ourselves.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, my God.
I know we generally at least once or twice an episode have to remind people that we're not murderers.
Well, so people are like...
we're totally not.
People are, like, so paranoid now, right? Because, you know, like, all this apocalypse shit happening. I feel like the murder rate has been going up.
I feel like you're right. Like, we've been covering, like, a few more, like, recent ones, and we haven't tried to say too much about, like, the super recent ones, because if people are out there, we still don't want them to, like, look at us and go, oh, no, you two are, like, the best detectives ever. We're not. We just have ideas. We're just two girls sitting in, like, this room with a husband with a wind shot, and that's, like, totally it.
Yeah, like, we're not really detectives. We're just, like, really big... You know, true crime aficionados. All we care, we just want to talk about, like, discuss what's going on and, like, different kind of murders. Because, like, honestly, it's, like, a nice escape from, like, the reality of this fucking apocalypse that we have going on, right? Like,
I know, right? Like, it's super weird to look out the window and still see, like, blood stains from when it poured literal blood from the sky. Like, that's so fucking terrifying.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And, like, honestly, like, all the clubs are, like, closed right now because everyone's trying to figure things out. Like, my favorite club in town, the owner, like, skipped town. I don't even know.
Way.
Yeah. Randall, like, actually skipped. So, like, you know, Randall's is, like, completely shut down right now.
That's like a mainstay. Like, I'm totally not into people, and I've become comfortable with that now, but that's like where I had my first kiss, and I was like, no, this whole relationship thing is not for me. Like, Reynolds, I know, has held like a big place in a lot of people's heart, and it still does even for me. Like, yeah. I can't believe he's gone.
Yeah, I don't even know.
No way.
I don't know where he went or why. You know, there was like that fire in the back room, and then he skipped town.
Oh my God, Mark.
Oh my God.
What did you do? We were totally not finished.
We were having, I don't even want to like go back over that entire conversation. We had, you guys, we thought the wind chill was on. But it turns out that Mark turned it off.
He just kind of nudged it, like reaching for like, well, actually, like I know I pretended that I didn't know what case the steaks were, but there were like some leftovers, and Mark reached for one and totally turned off the wind chill. No, you can't shake your head like that. You know it's true. You know it.
It's true. You did. Oh my God.
Totally did. Anyway, all right, we should stop like ripping on him. I get it. It's a steak joke. Rip. Okay, I'm done. I have to do at least one per episode.
Yeah,
but we were kind of like right at the end of it anyway.
Yeah, it's true. So anyway, so basically, you know, we're going to leave you like with the same thing we leave you with like every week, right? Where we say, you know, like, you know, be careful out there. Don't get killed. And stay hot, you know?
And like we've been like since the apocalypse, we've been thinking like, you know, yeah, we have our rules and measures of like stay safe, don't get murdered, stay totally hot, but like also stay like totally safe and like look after the people around you, because we're in the middle of a freaking apocalypse, and I can't do anything. I'm like us two, well, I guess us three if we include Mark, we're just people who tell tales about murders, and we can't really do anything to stop the apocalypse, but, like, all we can do is bunker down and give help to everyone that we meet. One, so you don't get murdered, and two...
to entertain. Like, all we want to do is entertain you. So, like, please make sure to, like, I mean, like, I know we said, like, earlier, like, don't be messaging us, but, like, you know, like, message us or write us, you know.
Yeah.
Like, let us, like, let us know if we're helping keep you entertained in the midst of all this chaos. And if you have like any stories about people that you know got murdered or like other really bad crimes, you know, like send them in to us and we'll do some research, you know, like very perfunctory research, but like we'll do some research and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we're like totally look into it and we'll like see how things are going. And if anyone has any leads on the whole apocalypse, keep sending them to me. I am adoring going through everything that all of you are sending me. God. Like literally middle of the night, someone sent me like this really cool thing. Anyway, I'm going to tell you about it off the windshield. But yeah, like if you have any theories, send them to us and we'll look into them. So don't get murdered.
Yeah. Stay safe out there, you guys. And like, if you definitely send all your crazy conspiracy theories to Foamy.
Like all of them. Just send me all of them. And then maybe we can figure out using our amazing detective abilities and by everybody talking to each other and being good, maybe we can figure out how this all ends. Like in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Stay safe out there, everybody. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I think I have something for next episode.
Oh, okay.
All right, this one is like, I know you thought the aliens was totally like out of this world, pun intended. But I heard from a really good authority from this woman who knew a woman who worked on the ferry on Bellickboot that, you know, the dead Prince Lefian, totally not dead.
Oh my God, Foamy!
I will tell you, and I'll tell you right now, but I'm going to tell everyone next week. Bye.
Bye.